Hello, guys. Welcome back to the segment. I hope your weekend is going well. It's time to talk briefly about our players and how they've been performing for their club side this weekend. Of course, this weekend presents us with the opportunity to watch a number of our players, Nigerian players, perform for their club side. And speaking about it, obviously, two games went down yesterday, and one was in the Bundesliga with Nathan Tella and Victor Boniface's Leverkusen playing out a very difficult 3-2 victory over monchengladbach. And heading into that game, I actually talked about Victor Boniface having a one-match ban with that monchengladbach game, but that was not the case. Apparently, he's going to serve that one-game ban, in the German Cup that's going to be coming up later in the next coming weeks. So for this game yesterday, Victor Boniface made an appearance and played 82 minutes of the game, which I think the game in recent times that we've seen him play the most minutes, because usually we'd just see him come from the bench or start the game and not play up to the 70th minute. But he was on the pitch for a really long time and had impacts as well, because he was able to produce up to like 5 shots, but not getting any goal from all of these shots. But the big difference maker for this Leverkusen side, were the likes of Ganesh scoring a bullet in the 12th minute, and then Florian Wirtz as well getting 2 goals for this game, to get them the victory over Monchengladbach. 3-2 was the final score. Monchengladbach obviously getting consolation from the likes of Elvadi and Klein Dienst, for that game. It's worthy to note here that Leverkusen snapped the victory off this game in the dying minutes, which is, like their trademark right now. They've sort of developed the habit of winning games in the dying minutes. Florian Wirtz scoring in the 90 plus 11 minutes of the game to steal all 3 points from Mönchengladbach. But aside from that, a good appearance of Victor Boniface. Nathan Tella was an unused sub, actually being named as one of the substitutes, but Alonso opted to not introduce him into the game. But I hope that, we are going to see Nathan Tella get back to the pitch from their next game. But let's leave that gist and head straight into the one that also happened yesterday, involving the likes of Sevilla and Villarreal. It was also a game played yesterday, and we saw a number of our Nigerian players being introduced in that game. And of course, I'm sure you know the guys I'm talking about, the two guys who moved to on a free transfer, the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho and Chidera Ejuke. So Kelechi Iheanacho and Chidera Ejuke made their La Liga debut with the game yesterday, but they had to come in the second half to try and see if they can effect the game. Villarreal actually drew the first blood for that game through Arnold Danjuma, who is also a Nigerian technically, because his mom is a Nigerian. But regardless, he plays for the Netherlands national team. He decided to play for Netherlands. But he got the goal in the second minute of the match before Luka Bakio from Sevilla side equalized towards the end of the first half. Then Ayoze Perez, former Leicester City attacker, got the winner for this Villarreal side in the dying minutes of the game. It was actually a defensive error that led to that goal. But again, more focus on our players, Iheanacho and Chidera Ejuke. They were both introduced in the later part of the game, with Chidera Ejuke playing 19 minutes for that game, and then Kelechi Iheanacho playing around 13 minutes for the match, actually having one shot on target. He almost scored a goal, but that was not meant to be. And again, from Chidera's side, we saw a couple of completed dribbles that he pulled up from that left flank, up to 2 or 3 dribbles I saw from the highlights. It was very, very beautiful to watch this guy. He's such a prolific dribbler. He knows how to get past his marker and then bring in crosses from the flank. And that was exactly what he did. But in the end, it was such a shame that they couldn't get anything out of that game. They were actually introduced by the Sevilla coach, Garcia Pamienta, in the latter part of the game, because then Sevilla and Villarreal were playing 1-1. So he introduced them with the mindset that these two attacking players, can obviously maybe get him the win for that match. But it didn't happen that way. But it's very interesting, when I when I saw how this coach reacted to Kelechi Iheanacho and Chidera Ejuke's La Liga debut, he was, to be fair, very, very reasonable, in terms of what he said about these two players. For Ejuke, he said that Ejuke needed a little bit of uh, breather, a little bit of fresh air, because the man had been working a lot, even throughout the preseason, and had been involved in their games, recently. So he said that the decision to not start him, from the get-go was to allow him some, resting periods. And the coach praised Chidera Ejuke's ability in one-on-one, 1v1 situations, and of course, the completed dribbles and the crosses that he actually brought into that 6-yard box, but no one was on the end to actually finish that one. And for Kelechi Iheanacho, the coach admits that Iheanacho is still fighting to get match fitness, especially from the angle that, before he was brought in as a free agent, he had not been playing games for a really long time. He actually was on injury and then came back and not really featured a lot for Leicester City before his contract expired. So the coach is actually reasonable from what he's saying, and he still has hopes in these players, not just not just Kelechi Iheanacho and Chidera Ejuke. He believes that his squad is a complete squad filled with quality, and that sooner or later that they are going to get the results. But he's also urging them to try to improve and then try to finish up their games. For example, he talks about Kelechi Iheanacho's chance. It was actually a full chance that Kelechi Iheanacho had, but the coach says that he did his best, just that he was denied by the goalkeeper. So the coach is obviously backing them to to shine, as well as all the other players. Sevilla have not been able to get a win in their 2 games since the season started. They actually played last week, against Los Palmas, and drew that game 2-2. Our Nigerian players were not involved in that match. Then this narrow defeat at the hands of Villarreal. But the man is giving them all the support, which is definitely something that I love to see. I like to see coaches being reasonable, with our players, not coaches that are very quick to throw our players under the bus and criticize them whenever there's a defeat or there's a loss of points. But that's the update, guys. More videos about our players, in the other football clubs and how they perform. I'll hopefully be dropping more videos to talk about, the other players that we have who had appearances in the EPL. We saw a lot of games go down. The likes of Leicester City, Fulham, and Nottingham Forest, and the list goes on and on. We have our players in these football clubs, and they obviously played out this weekend. So we'll talk about them in the next video, plus the stats that they have for these games. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like for this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're just finding this channel for the first time. Share the video, guys. Take care of yourself. Stay tuned. More updates coming soon.